Guys, I would like you to meet Kuya
Hello.
Jed Baguio. He's my cousin. He also worked for us in our company before, like way, way, way before. He has his own clients in SEO. He has been doing SEO for a very long time. How long has it been, Kuya?
Probably touched the water since 2009, I guess.
Oh, that's a long time.
You can go exactly when, because it was a slow process.
Okay, so today he's going to teach us the basics of SEO and whatever he can teach us about SEO. Because literally, guys, the reason why we didn't have an SEO training in our entire training program is because I really have no idea about SEO. I mean, I have like had trainings before that I wasn't really like practicing. So I really don't consider myself somebody who has the capability to train, but here he is. And take notes, and I hope you enjoy. And this is going to be such a great advantage in your like hiring process, because in a way, our clients are always like looking for people who have an idea about like traffic, about SEO, about things like that, right? So, sige, go, Kuya Jad, take it away. So,
Okay. Hi, Jude. Yes, I said cousins mini Judee for birth, I guess, since birth. Anyway, uh, okay, I'll start with Kuan. Sorry guys if dili kay ko kabaw pa niya kasi
ay,
iwa.
yeah, there
Uh,
are Tagalog people here.
oh, okay. Sorry if I'm not really very accustomed to Zoom, but I don't know how to manipulate that, so probably will get better. Also, I have prepared notes, but I don't know how to upload the slides yet, so maybe next I'll just
Oh,
anyway.
you can share a screen.
Share your screen.
This
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I was thinking of maybe a share, but maybe next time. But anyway, I'll boil this down to very. I'll just type it out, so it's very simple. Okay, I'll start. My name's Jad. I've been, you can actually search my name on Google. Probably Jad Baguio. My first articles on Ezine was around dated around 2009. So I first started as SEO there. So thing that you should know, I really don't consider myself an SEO expert. SEO is a very very deep and complicated subject, and I've actually a very hard time boiling this down to an easier way of understanding. But if you have no idea of base SEO basics, I can cover the basics to a certain degree. So again, I'm not an expert. If you disagree to some parts or everything, feel free to do so. I don't consider myself to be a master of this. Anyway, to start off, SEO basically is search for stands for search engine optimization. So the first thing that you should really know about SEO that all we have are guesstimates. That's it. We don't have a specific. I've been in SEO since 2000 as again, but there's no real guidelines. There's no step B, step A. You get rankings. What we have is what they call the trial and error. Or we test stuff, and then sometimes it ranks, and sometimes then all in the end, it's gonna be uh, all guesstimates. Now, my goal here, as for most of you are virtual assistants, as Judee told me, so most of you are not really in the topic. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe in the later question and answer we could cover it. But most of you are not really interested in, let's say, implementing SEO. Most of you are just want to know how it works, the basic idea. So they're very different. There's a different way of covering it if you just want to get a basic idea of how it goes and actually implementing it. And because there are tons of ways of how to implement it. So there. So my goal for today as a lecture is I'm just trying to give you a framework. So when a client says, could you do me an off-page keyword, 4% keyword density content, write me with something, you could understand what he means. That's all. That's what I want you. By the end of this, let's say lecture, you could at least have an idea. Oh, he's not talking gibberish. He doesn't really. Basta sorry, Tagalog. So you can understand it. So Judee asked me for this, let's say, for this lecture. I have my apologies if I'm not really also good at this lecturing. I haven't really been lecturing for. I haven't tried to train anyone, and I sometimes try to.
So, Kuya, you have trained, diba? Remember that you were my speaker in my.
Yeah, but not really by a
That was
professional
such
thing.
a long time ago, like 6 years ago.
Yeah, but that was not a professional thing. But yeah, anyway, as Judy told me like a week ago about SEO, the first thing come to my mind is like there are so many subjects, and how can I boil this down to something that you can easily understand, that you can, uh, as what I've read or learned, most people learn through mind mapping. So the fewer pictures I can give you, the better, and that's congruent enough that it can, let's say, connect to the other topics, then that's the better way. I wish I could show you a slide, but I'll just type na lang the basic yun, huh? And then maybe later. So I will type the hierarchy of the importance and nila. So primary goal, this will be the top. This will be the top priority. Sorry, concept na. Higher. When I say top priority for ranking, this is it. Let's see, where was it? Higher authority equals higher rankings. That's it. Okay.
Type it,
And
Kuya,
then,
in your screen.
yeah, I'm typing. Nasa everyone. That will be priority number one. That will be, if it's a pyramid, that will be on the top. And then it's followed by the three, I call it the three pillars. The three pillars are uh, content, let's say, no wait, links, content, and keyword research. I will explain this later, and then I'll add the permutation. You can think of a pyramid. First, on the top would be the top priority, the higher authority, cause higher rankings. Then followed by the three pillars, which is links, content, and keyword research. Then below that, it's not really below that. It's more like an umbrella thing for them. So I call them variable. Let's say variable. Let me check my notes. What do I call them again? There's no actual word for this. I just came up. Yeah, contributing variables. So your contributing variables would be, sorry, would be uh, black hat SEO and white hat SEO. Then there's another set called off page and on page. As much as I've learned, tried to boil this down to I think that's the what they call that one. That's how I boiled everything down to fit into a single framework. So if you really want to understand the basics, in my opinion, this is all that you really need to know. Top priority, higher authority rankings, three pillars, links, content, and keyword research. And the last would be under contributing variables, the black hat SEO, white hat, and white hat SEO. Then, Judee,
I'm sorry.
I'm still on. Am I still
Yeah,
on?
yeah, I am here.
I'm still on.
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Something weird with that. Okay.
I oh, Telly Barcelo, can you like turn off your sharing your screen? It
Ah,
looks
yes, Telly is sharing her screen. That's why.
Yeah,
she.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Can you turn that off, please, Telly? I think she did it by accident.
Or you share your screen, Miss Judith, then turn your screen off. Maybe she can't hear you.
Ano ba
Yeah,
yan?
I also don't have an option of turning her screen off.
Or Miss Joy, you share your screen, then you turn it off.
Ano ba yan, Telly?
Mm, what's wrong?
I think she can't hear us.
This has happened before.
Sarap na kayo English ko.
Okay. Do you see another type of screen
Yes.
now? Okay. All
I
right.
still see the "Are you viewing Telly Barcelo" screen.
Oh my. Maybe I can just boot her up. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. All
Oh, here we
right.
go.
Okay, let's.
Okay, continue ko, Judah.
Okay, sorry,
Sorry.
Adto.
So again, I'll
That
continue.
though.
Again, where were we? Oh yeah. So my goal here is to give you a framework. So the best framework I could get is ako nang I type in there on the side. I wish I could share a slide na lang to make it better, but I don't know how to do it yet. So maybe next time. So, but there's three things only to understand. That's the top priority, which is higher authority equals higher rankings. Then it's supported by three pillars, which is links, contents, and keyword research. And there's the contributing variables, which is the black hat SEO and white hat SEO, then off-page SEO and SEO, and on-page SEO. We're gonna cover that, and I'll try to, as best as I can, correlate them to a single cohesive subject na you can easily digest and understand. Okay, let's start with the first one. Uh, there's a lot of things when you talk about SEO. I once talked to a person who works in a call center. He said we do SEO stuff, and then I was curious, like, what do you mean do SEO? Like, oh yeah, we type in we do SEO. We type in meta tags, keyword meta tags in the HTML script, and they consider it as an SEO. Well, that's not SEO. That's just part of an SEO. In fact, it's just a minuscule part of SEO. SEO again is a huge subject, but there are ways and people's of, let's say, sometimes it's been thrown around. So that's why they think you're doing SEO, but most people are just doing part of the SEO. So I'll start with a very top formula of SEO. There's only just one thing to remember about. If you forget about everything about what I said today, and if you want to learn to rank higher, and this is it. Higher authority equals higher rankings. The more reputable authority your website is in the eyes of Google has more authority, it will rank higher. So what do I mean by higher authority? We'll cover that later, so it makes it easier to understand. But I'll give you a little bit of, so if you have a better understanding of how, uh, yeah, let's start with that, right? When you when you type, I don't know, let's start with dogs, okay? We search for your favorite, you're looking for a specific brand of dog food. You search on Google, and then magically a list of results appear. Have you ever wondered who dictates that? How what kind of system Google is implementing that it seems to give you very close, at least very close results to what you're looking for. Haven't you ever wondered how they do that? Well, that's SEO. They have a system of ranking, the system of ranking, let's say, the information in the web. But before SEO, there was also actually Yahoo. It was very old. But I'll give you a history of how the things work, okay? Uh, in the old days, when very early, way before me even, it was, let's say, when you want to go to a website, visiting website was a matter of memorizing the address actually. So you have to memorize address. It wasn't really a big deal because there were, for you, there were probably a handful of websites you want to visit anyway. So it's just easy to remember the things you want to visit.
Those days, kuya.
Oh yeah, it's very old days. But then again, the internet grew rapidly, and then a lot of people are putting information in the internet also. Now the question now becomes, uh, or other sources what you have to memorize. Other you should go to forums. They can give you suggestion and links and stuff like that. So you can. After that, internet grew exponentially. Now it poses a problem as as data accumulates. You need to have a system of accessing information like whenever you want. You can imagine, let's say, for example, even if you have, let's say, even if you have uh, the most completest everything dictionary in the world, but if it's not alphabetalized, it's next to useless, right? This is like, how can you retrieve what's the meaning of, let's say, some word, but you can't access the information because first it's thick, because it's complete everything, and then it's just confusing. So you need a better system. So in the old days, uh, now the question is, how do you sort actually? How do you create a system for the internet so you can retrieve information better? Now, in the old days, that's well still going on. Well, the first thing you need to do to to sort the internet is, of course, you need to collect the information. Search engines still do this right now, and they call it SEO spiders or search engine spiders. So the name is a bit tricky, but in reality, they are just simplified. They're just robots that basically browsers with no screens, and they hop to websites and collect the information from those websites. Now, they compiled now if you have imagine you have compiled already a lot of information. Now your next problem is uh, which websites are more important than the next. So you have to create a system, right? Create a sorting system. Well, in the old days, especially Yahoo was big, their idea was uh, rudimentary, but it works in some ways. Their system was, their idea was, if a certain phrase, okay, I'm gonna start injecting some SEO words. When I say keywords, it means phrases, English phrases like dog food, uh, uh, dog beds. Those are phrases, but in SEO terms, keywords. So I'll start mentioning every time I use keywords, I'm just basically saying phrases. So their idea was that if a certain phrase is repeated a certain number of times in a web page, then that web page would probably mean uh, that's what you're looking for. For example, very simplified looking things, how it works is, you search, I want to know more about dog foods. And then in Google, in the eyes of Yahoo, they think, oh, you're looking for dog food. And so the system goes through all the information they got. And the idea was very simple was actually, if a web page has mentioned dog food more than anyone else, then maybe this page is what you're looking for. So they represent that page. So it all boils down to that. How many times a certain phrase or keyword or is repeated in a page, and basically, oh, while this is not really entirely of it, but probably 80% of how their algorithm work is that the higher keyword count, the higher your search engine rankings. Now, in the old days, search engine wasn't really that big of a deal because, as I said, every day most people at that time use the internet. They memorize the or list down the places they go. So search engine wasn't really that nobody actually say foresaw how big search engines could get. Well, here's the thing that the next subject I'm talking about. Then realize search engines became a portal nowadays. Like for example, you want to search for anything. What's the first thing you do? You search to go to Google, right? That's basically 90-80% of the people do. If you want to know something, you hop to Google. If you haven't think about it, if you think about it deeply, that means most of the traffic starts with Google and goes to somewhere. And in the internet world, this is the one thing you should know with e-commerce. Traffic is the lifeblood, goodness. It's the lifeblood of any website. Websites need traffic to generate money, generate income. Now, so in other words, you could say that your your earning, since traffic equates to earnings, so your earning potential is now being guarded by the search engines. If they can direct you, if they can direct more traffic to you, then your earnings would go up naturally. So at this time, the concept of the search engine war begins. Let's say the search engine versus webmaster war started around that time, because webmasters at that time started to like, oh, if I can get more traffic, I can get more earnings. Hence, I'll try to rank higher by figuring out how their system works and taking advantage of how it works, so I can get higher rankings, which means higher earnings. So at that time, it was easy. It was practically easy. You just, for example, I want to, again, let's back to dog food. If I want to rank higher for dog food, I just basically, I make a web page, I spam that word 1,000 times, and I would rank.
With stuffing, no?
Yeah, keyword stuffing. And I would rank higher. It's just that simple.
Right?
And then,
dog food 100 times.
yeah, and it would work on, but nowadays it doesn't work anymore. Okay. At that time, the search engine was really messy. Information was what they call messy, scattered, because webmasters with no actual content are just ranking higher, but you're not really. Imagine you search for Google. Imagine for some, and Google's will give you some random page that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make you. You would say this internet idea sucks or something like that. Now, Google came along. Google had a very, very different, revolutionized the entire search engine idea. Now, their premise started with this idea, what they call that. Let me check. So the entire system, like for example, as I said, Yahoo, the older search engine, based their premise that if you mention the word a lot, that means that's your topic, and then you should rank higher. Keyword carrier, hey, no. I think this is a better way of sorting the internet. And this is what they call the backlinks. This is often misinterpreted by people who are new to SEO. They think SEO is all about backlinks. Well, true, but not really true. Why do I say that? As I said, in the history, Google came in with a new system. Their system was based on the premise, like how human social structure works. Like uh, for example, a close way, a very simple way of, let's say, describing is like, if I vote for this politician and more people vote for him, then the assumption is that politician must be good at his job. That's not always true, but yeah, it's probably close. Politicians are probably a bad analogy, but that's the idea right there. The more votes you can get, the high your authority will go higher. The higher your authority, higher rankings. So when you say people say backlinks, now when I say backlinks, when in Google system, there's no such thing as voting. You can't really vote on website. Na, this website is better than that website. No, but Google thinks you when you link to that website, you're actually giving him a vote. That no, I'm sorry, you're giving that website a vote. So the more that website gets a vote, he he gets more authority. He gets more authority. He links higher. That's the entire premise of Google's idea of uh, the idea of Google system. They also, as I said, Google authority. So they also started with that domain authority. Let me check my notes. Oh yeah, one very important system. In a democratic country, it's a voting system, right? Basically, entire search engine ranking is a voting system. But here's the thing: it's not a linear voting system. It's more of a weighted, like na I weight ang uban ba. Some links, some votes are more important than others. Like for example, if okay, uh, popular America's Got Talent, okay, okay, maybe okay. Let's stick with that. Okay, I vote for this contestant to win, but my vote doesn't really count when, if for example, Michael, who's that rude guy again? Sige na,
Cowell.
is it? Huh?
Yung mga Simon
Oh,
Cowell.
Simon. If Simon Cowell votes for that contestant, his opinion has more impact, has more weight than my opinion, and that's how Google works. The higher authority, if you can get a vote or link from a website that has a high authority, then that one link could mean that I could get 1,000 or close to 1,000,000. That would equate to 1,000,000, let's say, level 1 votes, and one vote from level 1,000,000. So that's how it is. It's not a linear system. It's a weighted voting system.
Mura siya og, it's like if you're being name dropped by, let's say, certain celebrities,
Exactly.
you have like more
Yeah.
social proof, or you have
Social. Oh, yeah. You have your social proof will increase tremendously if an already influencer already says that, rather than compared to nobody. And that's how the entire system works, because you can get links from a thousand, let's say thousands of from websites, unknown websites, and one link from let's say Huffington Post, and I can beat everything the thousand. That's how it goes. Even if you think it's a vote, but it's a weighted vote system. So that's all. Now, if there's let's say, I'm sorry. I like to end this part with a very I call this, if there's only one thing to remember. Okay, when it comes to this part of higher priority number one, if there's only one thing to remember is that here's the basic formula: higher authority equals higher rankings, and all of those strategies that you will learn from various websites, they are all, if not all, if most, if not all, are just trying to get higher authority. So you can, when you get higher authority, then there you go. You can get those higher rankings. Now, I'll move on to the three pillars. So now, of course, the next question will become, would you ask is, how do I get higher authority? How do I website gets gain more? Well, there's a concept of, oh, I'll let this, I'll cover this later. I'll just make it simplified. The answer to question to get more higher authority lies on the three pillars. The three pillars, as I wrote in the chat box, as again, is keyword research, content, and the links. Why are these three uh, three pillars? These are the three pillars because uh, I mean, any of these strategies, you can, like I said, keyword research, links, content. You can separate one of them. You can just use links. You can get backlinks, and you have no content. You have no keyword research. Yeah, it can still work. Or keyword research, you can do the best keyword research, and it can still work, but to a point. Analogy would be if you're a tennis player. Okay, if you're a tennis player, and I don't play tennis, so I could be making it wrong. Anyway, uh, if you have the best forehand in the world, like best forehand, every time you do a forehand, you always take a score. That's it. But the problem is your backhand is zero. Like when you're forced to take a backhand, you might as well give up. Well, if you have that kind of game, of course, you would win, right? You would win at some point. Like maybe regionals, you could win. But when you say nationals, I think you don't already, because opponents know how to exploit your weakness. And of course, don't think about international levels. And that's what I'm talking about here. If you only do links, yes, it would. You could get. You could still rank, but to a point. There's a limit of only doing that. So when I say these three pillars, because if you want good rankings, if you want to stay ranked and get higher, you need these three to work congruently. Again, keyword research, content, and links. I call this three, and there's another way of looking at this three. I call this the sniper analogy. Well, basically, I'll just pass the one. Anyway, let's cover that one. Anyway, I'll start with the first pillar. Okay. Uh, Keyword research. Again, I'll go back to that assumption that most people think SEO is about building links. This is actually, that's why I said it's true, but not really. So that's what I'm saying. It works, but not really. It doesn't really work that well. It works at some point. So anyway, let's move to keyword research. The first pillar of SEO. What is keyword research? Well, a simplified way of looking thing is looking of keyword research is it's just selecting the keywords that you want to use. Where do you use these keywords? That's what I said. These are the three pillars that are congruent with the other pillars. What you get from keyword research, you will also use in backlinks in the linking pillar, and you will also use it in the content pillar. So again, these are two really connected units. So why is keyword? Let's say what. So basically, why is keyword or what is keyword research important? Okay. Again, let's start with something with an analogy. There are when it comes to the topic of dogs, the topics are basically endless. There's dog food, dog shampoos, dog beds. It could go on like I don't know 1,000 different topics. If you wanna start thinking of okay, there are let's say a million possibilities of topics I can cover, and I don't have the manpower, nor I have the time in the world to cover everything. So your next impulse would be, I'll just focus on those topics that will give me better results. Now, the moment you do that, the moment you try to filter it, you are already getting into the subject of optimal. You're looking for something optimal. Now, when you get into the subject of optimal, you will run into this concept under keyword research, the concept of ranking the correlation between ranking difficulty and search volume correlation. Okay, I'll start with something. Again, simplified, there is a connection between ranking difficulty, meaning how hard is it or easy to rank, and search volume. Search volume means how many times a keyword is usually they say it in months. How many times it is searched per month? Okay, that's what I mean by search volume. And yes, they have data for that. They know how many, let's say, they know how many times the dog food keyword is searched for this month and next month. And now ranking again, there is a correlation again, ranking difficulty and search volume correlation. Now think of this, these two are will always are generally go hand in hand. Think of it of a spectrum. There's a spectrum, and so think of a spectrum. Let's say on the other extreme of the spectrum is the zero zero search volume. Meaning there's close to none search, no one's searching for that keyword. Nobody's interested in that topic. Well, naturally, ranking for that is very easy. Ranking difficulty is easy. Let's say you don't need an effort, it's easy to rank. On the other side of the spectrum, the other side of the extreme is a keyword that has been searched a million times of the million, let's say a million times a month. Well, if you are starting out, well, naturally you would be like, oh, I want to get that topic because I can get a million views. But here's the thing, there's a thing called ranking difficulty. The problem is search volume, the higher the search volume, the higher the difficulty. That's just how it goes. So why is keyword research important? Because uh, keyword research is actually, maybe I should have said this a while ago. I call this the sniper rifle analogy. The three pillars, uh, let's say the content is your bullet head, the links would be your gunpowder, and keyword research is your, let's say, the scope of your rifle. In other words, keyword research aims, like for example, yeah, you can kill someone with gunpowder, you blow them up, sure. You can throw someone a bullet, but that's inefficient, right? There's a better way of doing things. So you need to aim it properly. In other words, you're trying to spend your effort to the ones that gets you the best results. And that's what's keyword research is all about. So that's why it's very important. Again, keyword research is very important because it helps you, let's say, makes your effort more efficient, gives you more bang for your effort. So next topic is how do you do keyword research? Well, there are a lot of tools for doing keyword research, and there are paid ones, free ones, and the list could go on, and it would actually confuse you. But so I'll simplify this for you. All of those keyword research, when doing keywords, there's only, if not all, if 80% of all keyword research is just looking for anomalies. Okay, anomalies again. That's what you're looking for. Anomalies in the correlation. What does that mean? Okay, let's go back to the spectrum. Okay, if a certain keyword has a, let's say, from rank 0 to 10, if a certain keyword has a search volume of a rank 7, the difficulty should be around also 7, is ranked higher, ranked at 7 difficulty. But this is just on the average. There are times that search volume can be ranked higher, but the difficulty is 5. So that's your anomaly right there. Oh, this keyword is very good because I can spend effort, level 5 effort, and I can get level 7 result. That's what keyword research is all about. So that's it. So uh, all of your tools, all of that are just aiming to looking for anomalies, so you can take better results for your effort. So now that you know all those tools you use and what's the purpose of it. So how do you actually do it? Well, I can cover the topic of keyword research, but it's a very, 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 very deep subject itself. And in fact, the three pillars is a seminar by itself, easily. So I'll just give you the basic overview of how keyword research goes. It's generally the first step is you generate keywords. Uh, you usually use a tool to generate keywords. You mean, for example, okay, let's start with a dog topic. From the top of your head, how many, let's say, how many keywords can you come up with? Dog food, dog pear, some food, dog something. You could probably, for most people, it would be seven. They could really, top of their head, seven topics. But seven topics is not enough. Seven keywords is not enough. You need more. So you need to generate. That's why there are tools to help you generate those keywords. Once you have like actually you need thousands, close to a million, close thousands. After when I was doing it, I was close to like at least 5,000 keywords. And then from that 5,000 keywords, you can boil it down to around 10, uh, 10 to 20. That's how massive the filtering is. So first is you generate keywords. Then the next step is filtering. This is also very a part of how let's say what they call that one. Everybody has a way of doing things. Well, every keyword, let's say, has a metric. There's a metric that what you call that one, they gauge the importance. For example, there are already complicated metrics, but the basic ones as for each keyword, you want to know what is the competition, and let's say how many people are searching for that. So by basing that, you can, those are just the metrics. Then there are other metrics. Then you can filter the metrics. By using the metrics, you can filter you from 1,000. Okay, I will filter this 1,000. I want only from this 1,000 keywords. I want, let's say arbitrarily, I want, say, I want a search volume of around rank 7. So boom, in a click of button, like I don't know, half of your 1,000, 5,000, 1,000 keywords is gone. So that's you're left with 500. Now the 500 of yours have already have search volume of rank 7, let's say. And then you say, but I don't want to spend rank 7 because it's kind of effort. So let's say from 500, we will filter it down to from the 500. I want keywords that are ranking difficulty of 5. Then boom, you would probably be left with, there you go, 10, 20, or 30 keywords. That's how keyword research is basically done over here. There are a lot of ways of doing it, pioneer ways of doing, using more complicated matrix to do it, but generally that's how it. Now, the way I've covered, we're almost done with the keyword research. I will go to the most common terms that clients would usually tell you, and I hope that you could give me because I'm just doing a some research and top of my head topics that might, as I said, I usually do SEO for implementation. I'm not really good at trying to teach it or someone, so I might miss some, let's say, topics or some words that I know how the VA system works. Okay. So basically, this is the most common terms a client would say. First, would they say long tail keywords? Okay. What does long tail keyword means? I said a while ago, I said keywords. Keywords could be dog food. Long tail keywords it just basically means more words in your keywords. For example, we start with dog, and then you expand that bit wider. That's dog food. Then, if you want to go, well, if for most SEO practitioners, if you start if you're already incorporating three levels or three words into your keywords, you're already into that long tail keyword. That's already it. That's already that long tail keyword. So that means, let's say, for example, you start with dog, dog food, then dog food for sensitive stomachs. That's already a long tail keyword. So when a client says long tail keywords, even go for topics that maybe have more keywords in them. Another one is LSI. This has been becoming very prevalent for ever since like 4 years, 5 years ago. Everybody's, well, it's a fancy name, but it's LSI is short for latent semantic indexing. This is a bit tricky to explain, but I'll try my best. But LSI is basically keywords that are cousins to our next keywords. For example, okay, back to the dog food again. Oh, and also you have to think that LSI is more of what they call a relative term. Uh, it's relative by category. So let's start again with a dog topic. It would be your top. There will be dogs, and then you decided that you want to cover dog food. This would be here, dog food, and then the other one would be dog beds. From dog beds, you go down. I want dog food with stomach for dog food for sensitive stomachs, and then the topic here of dog beds for big dogs. Now, long tail keywords go down. You want going down more, finer down. LSI goings here. You want topics that are cousins, not really down, but here. So
Horizontal.
yeah, so that's why it's kind of tricky because LSI is hard to explain because it's a very relative. It depends on how you define it and what's it relative to what. That's it. But for many of you, so that's just the theoretical. A practical application of how to do LSI easily. Well, you can actually just use Google practically. Sorry. You can go to Google and you search for anything there, and after the top 10 results, there will be a page there. There will be information there called Google related searches, and it will list a certain search words, probably 10, I think. Those can be considered as LSI. So, for example, a client says, "I want a topic on dog food," and put some LSI words. Use LSI keywords. So, where do I get LSI keywords? Well, you can just go to Google and go to the bottom part, and you'll see those Google related searches. You can pick one of those keywords that is close to your topic, and that will be your LSI, and it should be good enough. Now, this is the and there's also this term called use local keywords and local targeting. The clients also say that. Well, that just basically means putting a place on a keyword, just basically so making it localized. For example, dog food Cebu, then it becomes a local keyword because you're already looking for potential. That could still mean a lot, but basically you're looking for dog foods, but in the Cebu area, basically. So when clients say again, when clients say local keywords, that just basically make sure that you put in the place where it wants to be targeting. So I want to end this chapter, the pillar, the first pillar, which is keyword research. As I said, if there's only one thing that you need to remember about keyword research is all about looking for anomalies. That's it. Looking for anomalies. Why? Because it's the ticket to because of the anomalies, you can spend less effort and get more results. That's it. That's all you need to know about keyword research. 80% of keyword research is just all about that. Looking for that anomaly. Now let's move to the next. Again, let's go back to the pillars again. The 3 pillars again will be we already covered keyword research. The next would be we would now cover links, and the last would be content. Now links. This is where stuff gets really SEO really gets like this really get muddy. Probably this is where SEO gets bad name in some places. Links. When most people say I'm doing SEO, he's just basically doing linking. Well, that's not really SEO. He's not doing the 3 pillars. So basically, you're just doing 1 pillar. So you're not really doing SEO. Again, let's start with our basic. What is link building? Well, we start from the very basic. The original purpose of the link is gets you from website A to website B. That's it. That's just how it is. Eh, very, very simple. So now, if you look at the link, if this is the link of website A, this would be the link. If this is website A and this is website B, if this website links to this one, the anatomy would go inbound and outbound links. Outbound, he's going out giving links. That means outbound links. Since he is receiving the links, this is inbound. He is receiving inbound links. The reason why you should know that inbound and inbound, because relative, this can also be a relative term. Clients would say, can you get me inbound links? Well, you can be thinking, oh, that's easy to do because you think any link that's going in. But that's not how it actually goes, because as I said, back to the weighted vote system of how Google works. And that means not, for example, there's a scenarios, okay? Scenario A, this website A links to website B. Scenario A. Scenario B, this website links to one of his websites under his domain. That's still considered an inbound, outbound, and an inbound link. But scenario B is significantly less important than scenario A. Hence, because of that, when clients says get me inbound links, minimize outbound links, it generally 80% of times it means like for example, don't do outbound links. That generally means don't go. You can link to your own web page to the web domain, but don't go outside. Don't link to other websites. That's basically it. When you say, again, simplified way of looking at when clients say inbound links and outbound links, 80% of the time they're saying site to site. Don't link outside and try to get links from other websites. So now that we covered type of linking, why is link building important, and why is it like it's not like class, like every SEO there is like let's say SEO practitioner is all about crazy about linking. Well, linking is actually the thing with linking is it's actually one of the things you can not labor intensive actually, and it's a lot. There are tools you can do to get links. Is it effective? That's a different topic. So why is link important? As I said, the original purpose of the link was actually just to get you from website A to website B. Now, as search engines develop, again, Google was a very big proponent of this practice that what they call the one they are counting the backlinks. But I'll let's say step back a bit so you can we can digest it further. The ideal world for Google, the ideal scenario for Google is this, and the entire premise of Google stands on this. You are a content creator. You're a webmaster. You write an article. Then you post that article on your website, and that's it. That what's in the ideal world. That's what Google wants. You just you write a content, you put it in your domain, and that's it. And then people would find it. I don't know how they do it, but theoretically, you can find it by, let's say, theoretically. And then when they say, oh, this is very informative, I'll share it to someone. So by the act of sharing, you're already giving a link because Because when you share someone on Facebook, oh yeah, check out this page. You're giving that person a link to that page. So basically, now, now I'll sidestep a bit. I'll continue this. I'll go back. I'll wait later. So basically, when you share, you get a link. When you get a link, you're also getting a vote. You're getting a vote. Your rankings are getting higher, higher authority. Then higher authority will also means higher rankings. Now the question is, why do the backlinks matter? Uh, I'll cover that later, but because as I said, these topics are will most the triplers usually share topics a lot. So I have prepared this later on. So uh, I'll cover that better. So before now, why why link building is important? Because link building is that it's how they Google counts the vote. It's it's the ballot box. It's the it's how they count if your website is should be getting higher. Now your next your next conclusion would be like oh, if I get more backlinks, I get higher results. Well, hold on your brakes a bit, because there's a thing called the too much problem. Okay, as I said, you also work with the ideal world. Ideally, Google doesn't want you to build links. Google wants you to create a content and just post it, and other people would recommend you. Thus, they are the ones giving you the link. You are not generating. You're not building the links by your own. Google actually doesn't want to do that. So there's a thing, but it's easy to think that links would make rank higher. Oh, yeah, but you have to be careful about it, because there's a thing that that too much problem. Google doesn't want you to do that. And if you build links too much, you will flag their system. Because basically, as I said, the base premise is, if you the based assumption is, if if website A is getting a lot of links, then I am assuming that that website has a lot of good information. Upon checking, if you build artificially the links, you of course you plenty of links linking to you. The system will think, oh, this link is let's say has plenty of links, therefore should rank higher. But upon checking, the content is actually crap. I mean, that doesn't help anyone. This is a stop keywords. So you get banned for that. There are two ways you can be penalized or you can be banned. That's the result of the too much problem. So there's actually a balancing game, but we're covered. So actually, we'll move on for now. So how do you actually build links? Well, this part is also easy. If you're talking about how do you make a link, everybody should know. If you're in VA, if you're working on WordPress, you could, let's say, you could just highlight it, search in words, and then you can put the link, and voila, you just build a bit. You just build a link. But that's just the top part of it. What you're really asking, if you want to know how do you build links, is the real question is, where do I get my links? Where do I get my link sources? This is where the stuff is interesting. Well, for now, there are people who have their sources of links. Anyone can, but for now, the three categories are just basically social media. You can get, like for example, you can post on your Facebook. Let's say you have a website about dog food. You post that page on social media, and a friend of yours shares that page. Every time that is shared, a link will be a link can be traced, which in the link can be a link can be traced and can be counted by Google, which can affect how your authority. So basically, that's one way of doing it. There's also getting links from Web 2.0. Web 2.0 is going down popularity these days, but before social media, it was like very big. Web 2.0 is basically piggybacking on somebody else's domain. for example, Blogger, Blogspot, WordPress. Those are Web 2.0 sites. I mean, you can build a mini website under their umbrella. So basically, that's our Web 2.0. There's also directories where you can what's it called that one? Register your uh, website there, so to get a link. And there are also link exchanges where go to some you can go to some website and then you can exchange links. I link to your website, you link to my website, and that's one way. And there's also paid links. You can also get paid links. There are websites that what they call that one. You go to them, you pay the webmaster to give you a link. That could also be done. And aside from those, you can also get from other websites. For example, you own a dog food business, and then your supplier, you can ask for a link from supplier, other websites, aside from those two usually. Now, what are the common usual terms that were mentioned in the topic when we were covering the topic of links? Well, for now, the only two big topics I can think of was when a client says usually use anchor text or use naked text. Basically, that's it. Uh, for now, that's all I can. As I said, hopefully I can populate this more. Anyway, anchor. When the client says anchor text, it means how do I explain this? Okay. For example, dog food. The word of the link is dog food, and it links to www http www dogfood.com, for example. The naked link would be the http www.dogfood.com. But if the client would like an anchor text, he means use this anchor text. It means this dog food anchor text should link to that domain. That's the use of anchor text and naked links. When they say naked links, that means uh, post the address as it is. When we say anchor, when the use of anchor text, use that address but use a different linking name, for example, linking term. So we're now closing on this keyword research. So again, if there's only one thing to remember about keyword research, so if there's only one thing when it comes to keyword research, it's just this: build links as much as you can without triggering the spam algorithm. That's it. That's all. Most of those tools, most of those SEO strategies about uh, links building it all revolves under that concept. Build as much links as you can, but make sure you do not trigger the spam algorithm. So the last part, I purposely the last part again. We'll go back again to the three pillars. The three pillar, then the top would be higher authority equals higher rankings. The three pillars, which would be keyword research, followed by links, and the last would be content. Okay, this is the part of SEO keyword, and you should be thankful that this is a pillar of keyword research. Otherwise, most writers would be out of job, probably including me. Because there's a thing called SEO content. So what do you mean by SEO content? Well, in the basic terms, very simplified, content just base is a umbrella term that could mean text. It could be text. It could be audio. It could be images. Anything that transmits information that could be considered as a content. But from the many options of text, video, audio, and images, there's a special case for text-based information. While YouTube is getting popular, videos are getting popular. But here's the good. Judee.
Yeah, I'm just here.
Nanay ko.
Genesis Macaranas, can you Can you like
Screen share na po.
yeah. Can you change that, Janicel? Guys, be very mindful of what you're doing, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We're not covering the topic of SEO content, and this is most probably of you. Most VAs would be writers probably, and most of it actually. So it would be very important to you understand what is SEO content. Again, recap. SEO content could mean images, it could mean video, it could mean audio, and text. But there's always a special case for text-based. That means articles. Why? It's all about technological limitations. Internet was started like around uh, late 80s, late 70s and 80s, and image recognition was probably 5 years ago. That's like 20, long time. Okay, and then even now you can use Google reverse search feature by Google. And it's not even accurate. And imagine that you are just using one text. You're just using one image. Now a video on average has 24 images per second. So imagine how difficult it is for for a computer to understand. It's even having a hard time understanding one image. How much more 24 images per second? Now you compile that problem, you multiply the problem of how many millions of videos in YouTube, then you understand that they just don't have the processing power to sort videos. Text, well, you can write 2,000 words and it will be just, I don't know, 5 kilobytes. It's easy to digest. And that's why it's always special case uh, for text. Now, when it comes to text articles, basically, one thing to remember is that you could say codes, JavaScripts, and Ruby can be considered as text, but you have search engines spiders are very rudimentary. They don't understand advanced coding. What they understand is HTML and a bit of PHP, mostly HTML. So basically, if you want, what I'm saying here, if you want to build a website that's optimized for rankings, you want to use most text, HTML or PHP. And this is also the part where web developers and SEO, let's say SEO practitioners get into trouble, in conflict. Web developers by nature, they want to make a beautiful website, attractive website. So that usually means images, animations, elaborate, let's say. But here's the thing, the more stuff that you put in there that the web spiders cannot understand, the more the spiders get confused. If they get confused, then you just put your site on a limbo. That basically means since a limbo, you're not really ranking, you're just on hold. So basically, for of you that possible be clients who would like you to do, maybe some of you will be doing, let's say, web developing. My suggestion for you is as much as possible, stick to text as much as you can, so that the spiders can digest what the content is. Upon digesting it, they can also then put labels on what your website is all about. Now, when it comes to content, I'll go back to the ideal scenario again. Ideal scenario for Google, for example. As I said, the ideal scenario is you write content. I will expound this further. You write content, you post it on a website. That website, since that content is very good, it will be shared by uh, by other people to other people. So shared, and then on the process, uh, now let's back a bit. I'm getting confused. Okay. In the ideal world, when we say content, the question is, what is great content? Okay, because basically in Google's eyes, content is, as I say, a lot of you also will say content is king. True, maybe not to a limit, to say. So in Google's eyes, content is very important, but there's still a point of Jude. Oh, sorry. So basically, how do you actually say this a great content? This is a good content. Now here's the problem with that. Okay, this is where the assumption and how is the, let's say, the problem of the system Google system. When you say this article is better than this article, as a human being, you can easily say, let's say not article, pictures. This picture A is better than picture B. Still, first of all, it's subjective, which is pose a problem, and then the second is, and there's no program out there that you can say that which computer you can say, can you discuss how beautiful the picture is. A computer will have a problem having a problem answering that. It probably puts you an error. Why? Because art, which is content writing, is basically is art, is an art form. Art, computers doesn't have art, basically. They can mimic it, but they can't really generate it. Art is, in my opinion, is just basically what separates humans from robots and spiders and programs, because that's it. They are incapable of art, creativity. They can mimic it, but not really generate it. So now, question is, if this content is better than that content, in what way? Because me, I'm Google. I want you to give you better content. The problem is there are millions of those. So how do I sort it with who's the best, who has the better content? Well, I cannot write a program. I cannot write a code to tell you that to sort that so I can put it in a code and says which is the better content. Well, you can't really do that because you're basically asking the computer which picture is more beautiful. That can't be done as for now. So what's the next best thing? Well, this is where you go back to the ideal world of Google, ideal world of how it should be done. Well, if I put a good content out there, what's the natural thing to do? Natural thing to do would then people would share it. So in essence, then share it, then so on and so forth. So since I am Google, since I cannot create a program that will tell me which picture is beautiful or which content is more beautiful, but I can count how many times it is shared. That's again back-to-back links. I can count how many times this link is getting some links, and by that method, you can now getting some links. Well, let's expound that another further. Why is Google very important? Why is Google very particular about the links? Well, here it is. When you have good content, the content will be shared, of course. Now, Google thinks that through the algorithm, because you're getting a lot of links, they will try to put your website higher in the search engines. Now, a person who happened to be searching for that subject stumbles onto your website. Now, he likes the what they call that, he likes the information, and they're like, oh, impressed. And he says, oh wow, Google helped me a lot in finding this. So what we can conclude about that scenario is this: Google wants to give better user experience for its users, because that's the entire business model. The entire business model of Google is give user experience, give better user experience, so users will continue using, and they can and Google can then display those ads for earnings. So this is also, you should be careful about spamming stuff. The problem with the stuff spamming links is that you might rank higher, but your content is probably crap. And by that, Google will probably hate you, because if ever your right gets through the filters and ranks higher and it is utter garbage, it will give Google's users sa Google, ng user ng Google, a bad experience, and they really don't want that, and that's why they are preventing it. So basically, if you're trying to write better content, uh, your your job is, in boil it down, you want a content that is uh, gives a better experience, useful, better experience for the user. So how do you write a good content? Well, no, 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 no. You're already asking me how to be a writer. No, I cannot teach you that, and that's very broad topic. So you can move on through your direction, how you do pursue that, let's say, subject. But if you want, what I'm saying here is this: if you want to improve your SEO content, the safest way and the most reliable way of doing it is to learn how to make videos better, how to make contents better, and that will naturally increase your SEO importance. The important of SEO rankings of that content. So, uh, I'm gonna cover now the last part. That would be what you call one. Where are we again? That would be content. So if there's only one thing to remember about content, that's it. Make better content for better user experience. That's it. That's all you need to know about. And all of those strategies for content, that's just all falls down to trying to get a better experience. There are I'm gonna I'm here. Let's see. Now here we go. Common terms. Common terms that falls under what content. Excuse me. Sorry. Uh, Keyword density. This is a very common. But if you really ask me, keyword density is more of a relic of an old past, of an old age. It was still started from the old, repeating the keywords again to rank higher. Yeah, it started from that. Nowadays, okay, for safe, just to keep your bases loaded or what, just to be safe, you can use it. So basically, but when one of your clients says, I want an article with 2% keyword density, what does that mean? Well, it means that specific keyword, because we're talking about 2%, so that means for every 100 keywords, 100 words you write, that keyword must be repeated twice. If it's 3%, that means 3 out of 100. Basically, for everyone. So if you're writing 500 word article and 2 keyword density, that means 2 times 2 per 100. So that's 500 equals to 10. So you need to repeat that 10 times within the 500 word. That's what it means with keyword density. There's a tag. There's also things put in meta tags. You can go to Google for that. Meta tags mean a lot. Depends. Those are the tags. This was usually important before, but not anymore. But some clients still cling to this, so you should know. Meta tags will fall under those uh, outs, the variables. You can go for research for meta tags, and it actually goes a very long list, and so you can at least meta tags are placed under in the HTML coding to tell basically the spiders what your web page is all about. Now there's also when building. I forgot about this part. Here's a good tip. And if you're using WordPress WordPress based website, there's an actual plugin called SEO Yoast. You can just use it, and then once you turn it off, it will fix most of the tags, the header tags, image optimization, it will fix that for you. The only thing it won't fix is that keyword density, which you have to write it manually. Anyway, there's always also another thing. Quick sidestep. Contributing factors for uh, content. As again, the main goal, I forgot, the main goal for creating content is creating better user experience. Now, there are newer metrics that are coming out. Like, for example, mobile ready. Clients will say, can you build me a website that's mobile ready? Well, that's basically, mobile ready means that your website can automatically adjust depending on the size of the screen. That's what that means. And that also, but this just falls under what they call the one, uh, what they call that one. This just falls about under giving someone a better user experience. Because, for example, you're using a smartphone and the website is designed only for PC. The problem is that the codes will be barely visible. I mean, the text will be barely visible. So that's another part. Another thing that they usually say also, can you make my website load faster? Yes, this is a thing, and it's becoming it's becoming an important metric for Google. Why is it becoming? Because again, it falls under that better user experience. How many times have you tried searching on Google, and what happens is 5 seconds it doesn't show up. So what you happen, you press back, press the back button. So in other words, you were very disgruntled. You didn't like the experience, and Google wants to avoid that. So therefore, there you go. That's why faster loading speeds now, it's becoming more important. There are a couple of ways you can, if you're using WordPress, there's already, you can explore the subject of cloud networks. What they usually do is, if your server, I'm not sure if you know about how the internet works, but basically in the old times, uh, if you want to make a website, you need your laptop or your PC on all the time. And then if somebody wants to, let's say, wants to retrieve information from your website, that person has to go in actually to your web laptop and like check the files and get like what they need and leave. That doesn't work anymore these days, because instead of, let's say, leaving your laptop on, you can just leave the files on your hosting domain. I mean, like web hosting. So there you go, web hosting server. You just put your files there, and then you can retrieve the information. And the thing is, your hosting may have several locations in the world, and it will affect the load times. Again, load times, faster load times, better user experience. So you can use the cloud network. What cloud network is, you clone your website, they clone your website and spread your information across the globe, so it would load faster. There's I think there's Cloudflare. Cloudflare, you can use that. You can use Cloudflare. It's free, and it can make your website load faster. And because they clone your website, spread it across the globe in their servers, so anyone who is uh, searching for you, they will just retrieve the information. That's the closest server. The closest you are to the server, the faster it is the load times. Now we have, okay, in content again, if there's one thing to remember, give better user experience. Strategies may change, the tricks may come and go. As I've seen a lot of those, like put the keywords here, put keyword there, use this keyword density. It actually is very hard to follow if this strategy still works, but this strategy you can always rely on this. If you have a strategy that can give better user experience, then it's probably the best thing to do, or the better. Now we have already, again, let's go. Excuse me, sir. We have already covered that top priority, which is high authority links to higher rankings. And then it's followed by the three pillars, which is content, links, and then keyword research. These three must work cohesively together. Now, after from these three, there's this umbrella terms that clients would like to use. Again, I wrote this in the side. What this is what they call the first contributing variables. I call this contributing variables is white hat and black hat. Then they also then another set on page SEO and off page SEO. So we'll cover this too. On page contributing variables first, white hat and black hat. What does that mean when a client says white hat and black hat? Okay. The simplest way of looking is white hat is you're just following the rules. You're just following what Google wants, the guidelines for Google wants. And as I said, I said this ago, I keep repeating this so you really can better understand what I actually Google wants. And that's it. You create content, people will share the links to you from other way, will share your link, and then so on and so forth. More links will share to you naturally, and then uh, and you will gain higher authority, and then you will rank higher. Now, that's actually, if you want to play that game, it's called white hat. So you just create a link, share it a few times, and then other will people link to you, other will people link because it's a very good content, and so on and so forth. You have more links, because people keep sharing, and then that will lead to higher rankings. That's how you follow the rules. Is when I say black hat, when clients say black hat means actually not following the rules. Because as I said, if you look at the formula, again, good content, which leads to getting more links naturally. More links would lead to higher authority, then higher authority with links to higher rankings. Now you can actually cross this link. You don't really need content. Okay, you really don't bad content. All you really need to do is create links because the formula goes like that. So if you do that, you're already in the territory of black hat. You're already not following the rules, but you are manipulating of how their system works. And that's how what is black usually means. It can be complicated, but simplified way of looking is if you're not following what Google's ideal world, then that's black hat. In some circles, a lot of people would condemn black hat, condemn and only use white hat. It's your choice if you want to pursue black hat or white hat. That's your choice, but in my opinion, I have nothing against black hat. For example, why? Because you have to understand ranking is a competition game. Okay, there are people who are trying to rank, and then there are also you are trying to rank. Other people are also trying to rank. That's the competition. This is a competition, but the rules that Google said, these are just arbitrary. Okay, they just made it up. It's not really. You won't go to prison. Worst thing you can get is you get banned. That's it. So basically, I'm okay doing black hat, but you must be sure how to do it. You must know how to get away with it before you execute it. So you can better rank. You can have a best chance of ranking it. And yes, there are ways of doing it, so you can hide it, let's say, hide your mischievous, not following rules activities from. The next contributing variable is the what they call the one on-page SEO, then the off-page SEO. Clients will say, "Can you do on-page SEO? Can you do off-page SEO?" Well, that's just basically means when I say on-page SEO, basically any SEO effort that you will do on your domain, on that website domain. So that falls keyword density, uh, architecture, how you sort the files, how the menu goes. Those are fall under on-page SEO because you are doing on-site. That's what's inside the website. Off-page, that's basically building links. Basically, it could, but by definition, it's any SEO activity that's outside your website. But most of the time, because it just points out to backlinks, because you're doing activities outside the website, which is mostly backlinks. So how do now I'm gonna most parts, or hopefully I've understood that part. So how do we apply this as a VA? So you have, as again, the contributing variables. Excuse me. Contributing variables are, you can say, piece this together to make that. For example, what's the basic basis of a sentence? You need a subject, verb, and a predicate. It's similar. Clients will often say, first contributing black hat or white hat, oh, and then okay, I'll choose from that. Okay, I want black hat, off page, SEO, and that usually means doing against not a doing rule. It could mean spamming using outside sources. That's where usually called backlinks, link farms, and that's what usually what the client wants. He wants backlinks from outside. Doesn't really care if you're spamming. There's also, for example, uh, white hat, white hat, on page SEO, on page content. Okay, three pillars are usually on page. Basically, that's what he means. He wants an article that is not trying to keyword stuff. He's trying to avoid being he, he wants to avoid content that may be seen as, let's say, violating the rules of. So hopefully I was thinking of drawing this a better image of for better understanding, but maybe next time I could share it. Judee, good. I guess I have most covered most of the stuff in here. Hopefully you have done a good job explaining the basics. Um, um, I'm open if you have questions. Actually, like it better if you ask, so I could better direct, better make it how to make a lecture of SEO basics better. Because for now, it's hard actually to say concise the information. I can say.
So we're now open to your questions. Like, actually, we were always planning na for this one to be more of like a question-based lecture. So guys, feel free to ask some questions. And there are no wrong questions. Start asking away. Okay?
Got it.
Yeah, I think you have to speak, guys.
How many?
Yeah,
Okay, I have a
looking at
question
that.
here.
From Golda. Okay.
Gulda. Okay. How many links should you include? Uh, what do you mean actually include in where? In your when you okay, let's go back to the pillars. When you mean when you're creating content, well, the basic practice there. Uh, I'll start with Golda. Okay, how many links should you include? This is kind of tricky, but if I were to do it, if I want to be thorough about it, well, there's a checklist you can do. For the basic checklist is you should one website, one page should at least link to another page, because Google have been catching up to this practice that websites try to conserve their vote by not voting, by not linking out. They are not they're not giving away their authority, so they can keep their authority. So now here's the thing. Google have caught up to this. So if you're not really abnormally not linking out, you are already trying to you're starting to trigger the algorithm spam. So for best practice, you for every content, you should be at least once, you should have an outbound link. Now, to minimize the, well, it is true though that there's a damage if you link to another website. But if you link to a higher authority website, the the damage gets mitigated a bit. So what I usually do is go for wikipedia.com. I usually link for that. For example, I write dog food topic. I link for more information about dogs. You can link to Wikipedia, and then there you go. You have an outbound link, and you're mitigating the damage of the link. What do you call that one? That of linking out. What determines ranking difficulty? Again, this is why I'm having a question. Here's the thing. This is a very subjective term, and let's example there are different website services, and how they describe, how they determine ranking difficulty. That's up to them, and every service is usually somehow complicated. Uh, let's say complicated algorithm or systems they use to rate how difficult it is. Somehow so, but basically the spectrum goes. So when you build, I hope you're talking about keyword research. So when it's up to you, when you're researching for keywords, I'm doing it, I try to build my own filters, what criteria I am, so that would determine how difficult it is. You could also check for other authors of how they try to determine the ranking difficulty. But there's no uniform, let's say, a standard way of looking ranking difficulty. Uh, for example, one minute should include. Is backlinking more of like an affiliate linking? Yes and no. It could be. Here's the thing. When you're doing affiliate marketing, you are basically trying to make money through affiliate. So therefore, affiliate linking is something like that. But if you're building a money website, you could also be monetizing in different ways. For example, you could be monetizing from your video content. Well, that's not affiliate. That's strictly not by sense. So backlinking, more link of an affiliate linking, it could be not. It depends on the context. Do links from spam emails count? Do they have the same weight as web pages or they have lower? I'm not sure because Google is supposed to not look at your emails by law. So therefore, any links in your email, they shouldn't know. So in practice or theoretically, legally, they shouldn't be counting it. Otherwise, they're looking at your emails and they're not supposed to do that. But there's no one stopping them actually. Do links in email spam count? No. In my experience, they really don't count as again because if you're trying to build links through spam email, well, theoretically they're not supposed to look at emails, so therefore they're not supposed to count it. YouTube SEO. YouTube SEO is a very different animal. As I mentioned, YouTube SEO is very different from, let's say, ranking keywords on websites, and it all boils down to, again, to the technological limits, because as I said, robots can process images, but they have problems processing. Humans, we see, let's say, yellow colors blue, and then we naturally, our brain think, oh, I'm seeing a rabbit. Image recognition is still sketchy for now. So how do you rank that? You can't. I think
Options na lang.
oh, you can put better keywords in your descriptive, and then you could do uh, better titles. You could do something like that. But strictly something that really works, a solid. I have no idea how it works yet. For YouTube's no, you can probably do keyword research. Target your. You can do keyword research, and then bet you use your titles of your web videos to be including keywords that are not very competitive. That might work, but don't count me and like don't quote me on that. That's just basically my guesstimate of maybe how it works. I'm pretty sure they're not looking at your videos and assessing based on that. As I said, that's just a technological limit. How do you determine authority level of a site? Is there a way of knowing it rather than popularity alone? Authority, well, basically popularity is still. Again, here's the thing you need to know about Google. No one really knows how it's done. They don't give they don't give the formula away. So the practitioners of SEO just invent metrics that are close to Google. In fact, I mentioned domain authority, but probably Google has a different term, but it works the same way. So when you say how do you determine authority, it also means how do you determine how do you exactly determine its metrics. With that system, if you ask that, well, it depends who you're asking. So basically, like for example, SEOmoz.com is have their own difficulty rating. Uh, let's say another one, SEMrush, they have also their own formula for uh, difficult rating difficulty. In what I'm saying is every service out there, in Google, every has have their own formula for ranking difficult ranking difficulty, and this is where all those tools and paid tools and competition of who can give you the better assessment of ranking difficulty or hard ranking difficulty or authority. Authority is there's an easy how to determine authority levels. Well, some website service like SEO Moz and SEMrush, they have their own websites that also act like search engines. They try to follow backlinks and then try to compile it, and from that they can roughly determine how much juice or link juice or authority or how much votes that site or page is getting. From that, you have a rough estimate. You have rough estimates. Again, all of these are just rough estimates. In most cases, you are just trying. So, from my SEO, I'd be surprised that if I'm targeting this keyword, I would actually rank that, but I would rank for other keywords that I'm trying to target. It's just basically a hit or miss. What you're not trying to hit the bullseye because it's very hard. You're just trying to hit the vicinity. That's how difficult SEO is. What makes clickbait links to pages rank lower? I'm trying to understand. Here's the thing you understand with link baits, which all go back to our concept of what does Google want. Google wants is to give better user experience. Clickbaits are not that. So yeah, it might work, but here's the thing. You have to understand that if you come from google.com, you search a keyword, the results will come. When you click on that, Google will know that you you've gone through that door using their door. They can time when did you come exactly, when did you went into that website, and then there's a limit there though. They can exactly know what time when you went there, and then what time you, but they can't actually get know how long. unless you press the back button. If you press the back button, then what happens is you go back to registering Google from the exact link. They have a link system for that. So they can timestamp you that, okay, you went through this website at 8 p.m. and then you want at autumn 8:02. So you're basically just there for 2 seconds. What does 2 seconds means? You weren't happier with your visit. So basically, that's how they gauge how one of the variables of saying of user experience. Of course, if you stay there longer, that means you're better experience. Clickbaits, Google will catch on to that using that timestamp thing. If if it, if they can probably, that's why it can work. I mean, it can work. There are avenues. Here's the thing you have to understand about. Some of you may have done research on, let's say, SEO activities, and some, like for example, this one, uh, better stick to what on let's say white hat SEO. You have to understand that these are just arbitrary rules. This is not you're not immoral in some way. In fact, these are just Google is just trying to protect their side, and there's no harm if you use black hat to protect your side. It's, in my opinion. So, like uh, for example, like that, don't do black hat. Eh, it's more of, can you do black hat and get away with it? If you can, yeah, do it. It will help you. But if you're not, yeah, maybe stay on the safe side. If you if you're not really experienced, and there's a lot of ways you can do it to hide your, let's say, hide your activities, for example. And this is also the part why SEO is becoming very, very expensive, because the top level right now, if you want to know how to rank a website, the top level formula is just basically uh, getting links. As I said, the formula is that, right? Get higher links, higher authority gets higher rankings. How do you get higher rankings? One of the formula is getting links from higher authority sites. Now, you can actually build links. For example, you can buy links. But the other formula is you could also make a website, grow it to higher authority, and then link that website to your other website. That's what they call those blog networks. You can also do something like that. But here's the thing: before that website gets ranked, it has to have good keyword research, good content, and get a good linking strategy. And that the most expensive part is actually the content, because for best practice, at least 500 words for articles. For at least 500, best would probably 2,000 word articles for a topic, something like that. So if you are, how much is the standard rate for what they call for 500 word articles? You cheapest will probably go $5. So if you have 100 pages, it's $500, and this is the part why SEO is becoming more expensive. What happens to a flagged websites? Can they get unflagged eventually? It depends on the severity of your problem, severity of the ban. In most cases, it's rare that Google bans a website. In most cases, you just get penalized. What penalized means is your rankings will suffer. For example, you could be ranked number 5, and then suddenly you get penalized. You go to rank 50 and stay there for, I don't know, 5 months, 6 months, whatever. Sometimes a ban is different when you know you're banned in Google. For example, you have a domain. Your website is, for example, www.dogfood.com. Okay, if you're just not ranking higher and you used to rank higher, you're just being penalized. You know you're banned if you you search for Google your exact domain name. You go to google.com. You search in the search box www.dogfood.com, which the site you own, and the exact domain doesn't appear number 1, then you're banned. That means there's nothing. maybe you can get unbanned, but for most SEO practitioners, once they got the website is banned, they just quit on it. It's better to start on something than something else, and then rather getting unbanned. Let's say it's easier to do that. Cocktail SEO, how to do cocktail SEO? I'm not very specific. I'm not very. Uh, I'm not really. Hindi ko paano ba acquainted with. There you go. I'm not really acquainted for the words. And here's the thing: you really Uh, here's the thing with SEO. Okay, an SEO, let's say SEO gurus. Every couple of years, it's the same method. They just use different words, and then for more, I'll check on it. Okay, I'll give me a second. What does that mean?
Because Fab, you have to really take note of this. I mean, for so many years, there's so many like algorithm changes and everything, and there's so many like new terms, and everybody has like different ideas about it. But the base idea is that you provide great content that has a great experience, and thereby you are like the top quality.
Oh yeah, I just check on this SEO cocktail, and basically that's what it means. As I said, one, your glass is your domain, for example. Content, your liquor. It's just basically what I'm saying. It's just a primitive, another variation of what the three pillars what I'm saying. Content, link building, and keyword research. That's what I'm trying to say here. In a couple of years, it has a different name again, but in most times, it's just basically the same. They just name it differently to I don't know branding, I guess. Difference of SEO now and before. SEO now is very expensive. Um, it's harder, and you need to play smarter because everyone. It used to be easier. I used to rank sites just in a week or something. Nowadays, unless it's a very profitable and I have the budget to do it, yeah, I need to be very selective of the project. And then, and it's not uncommon that like you could work for 6 months and completely fail and not getting anything. So here's the thing: you should. Well, I used to have a clients. That's one of the reasons I do specific SEO activities. I write content. I write I I can link build, but I never guarantee SEO results. That's the part I also learned from handling clients. I cannot guarantee results, but I can do the activities that may do results. And when you shift that, okay, when I say I'm a SEO practitioner, I'm an SEO expert, I will come to you and I will say, I will rank your website higher. Well, I'm telling you that I can rank your higher. Most of the time, that's not guaranteed. But when I come to you, it's like I can do the building for you, and it might, which can help you, and it's not guaranteed. Then you are actually getting paid there for building links. You're not getting paid for ranking. That's their problem if it's ranked or not. So it's a semantics thing, but most clients, plus they have their own formulas too. So that's why some of you would be hired to do link building, some would be writing, but it all falls under the SEO. Are banned domains actually up for sale? Yeah. There's a website. What do you call that one? This is supposed to be a strategy. Uh, Moon something I forgot. But there's an auction site for that. This was actually a very good strategy. There are times that websites in time, naturally in time, by default, your authority, because one of the metrics for link authority is age. The longer it goes, the more, incrementally it gains more authority. What happens is some websites, some webmasters just forget about their websites or they quit entirely. So you can actually buy those websites from auction sites, and then you can harvest the links at the link authority for that, and which can direct it to a domain or whatever you want to do with it. But you're basically harvesting the link power that is earned to that website. And the problem with this is it's also twofold. You can also be you could be buying a website with good authority in earned through white in like in a white hat way. You could work that. The bad side is you could also be buying a website that is flagged for banning and domain. Now, how do you separate the two? Well, this is a strategy by itself, but you should be able to do some metrics, checklist. You do your diligence to make sure that you're not buying actually a web domain that's already blacklisted in the search engine. What are the latest algorithm? Okay, now here's the thing. As I said, from 2009, uh, what they call on, I used to be very, very, let's say, upfront with Google, let's say, front lines of Google search engine. I used to do tricks. I used to try to learn as much, implement the new strategies. And then as time goes, it always moves. The new strategies, the new tactics.
Mhm.
Then you would start to realize there's a thing called tactics and there's a thing called strategies. Tactics is very, let's say, keyword stuffing is a tactic. Keyword strategy is different. It's more like building good user experience. When it comes to, let's say, what's the latest algorithm, I really don't care. If I know what Google wants, I really don't care the algorithm because I can just build the website based on what they want and feed them what they want. I may not know the latest tactic, but the strategy doesn't really change. It hasn't stayed for a very long time, and that's it. That's try to give the best user experience. If you improve on that, keep improving on that, you can rank eventually.
Actually, Kuya, that's really also the same thing that I have. Diba? Because in my end, I've been studying social media and social and also like Facebook ad strategies and things like that. And when I was starting out, I was so caught up with all these algorithms and things like that. But then because there are just so many algorithm changes, you really realize in the end that you just have to provide great content, a great experience. It
Yeah,
has to look good. And it all boils down that all those strategies and tricks, whatever, that they may like come up, and there's like this new article about these new changes and whatever, it still boils down that they're trying to make the experience better and better.
yeah. Well, as I said, Judy, yeah, true. Or it basically falls into that white hat and black hat thing, which is again, I will refer to that. It could be the tricks that you learn. It basically falls to white hat or black hat. White hat means trying to give a better experience. Black hat means you're trying to manipulate the system, the tricks, so you can, how they rank. If you know how it is ranked, then you know how to, let's say, manipulate your your structure, your how you create architectural website to dupe, trick, to dupe the system. So most tricks are probably useful for black hats, and I'm not condemning that, but you have to understand those come and goes. Like I've seen them a million times come. I used to like I do this and it ranks, and then 3 months, 4 months doesn't rank anymore. And then what you're gonna do? Look for another trick. You're gonna repeat that for 5, 10 years, looking for another trick, or you're just gonna repeat. You just remember one thing. Look for strategies that would better experience. Easy to remember, easy to implement. You know what you're looking for, rather than trying to jump another one. Like, oh, what's the latest trick? Oh shit! It's just stressful. Learn the strategy and do a bit of tactics, but learn the strategy first. Is it advisable to add links from credible website every time we post an article? Is that, yeah, credible websites. I mentioned this ago. It's best practice to have for each article you should have at least one outbound link to an authority site. Well, hopefully Wikipedia or from other gov. Uh, there are websites actually that are given by Google. By Google has authority. There are certain websites that automatically gets authority, no matter what they do. Automatic, they just get it because of how it is. Like for example, Wikipedia has automatic authority. Hafting, if I can explain this better, let's think of link juice system. Okay, let's move away from that. The term is they use link juice, but let's move away. They think, sorry, I use the term voting, but let's move to that. Let's shift the analogy to link juice system. It's just the same system, except I give juice, I'm linking out. I receive juice if it's inbound link. If I get a link, I'm receiving juice. So basically, the more juice I am getting, practically the more votes I am getting, the more authority I get. When I give other links too, that bleeds me. That bleeds my link. That bleeds my authority in some ways. Now, by that logic, if you say something like that, then how come Facebook is still powerful? Huffington Post is still powerful. Most of those big sites are still powerful. Then when they are constantly giving out links to other websites, are you not supposed? Yes, because Google has to intervene somehow and somewhere. And that's why I'm saying some websites are automatic. They can bleed links out like all day long and they will never lose authority. And those are, for example, big news sites, automatic, they never link bleed. For example, the government sites, they have an authority and they never link bleed. Education sites, known organizations outside World Health Organizations, uh, something like that, big organizations, their websites gain automatic authority and they never link bleed. For everyone else, yeah, everyone suffers from link bleeding, link juice bleeding. But again, I covered this again a while ago that if you're trying to conserve all your juice by not linking out, then your website is actually trying to game the system because a natural website will always link out. So what you do is, as I said, I said a while ago, the battle of webmasters versus search engine is still going on. It's still being rampant. It's a cat and mouse game. The webmasters they're trying to get the most, get away, while Google, another, tries to catch what they're doing, webmasters. So this is a cat and mouse game we have been going for so long. And then so yeah, you could, for example, the best practice now is, okay, I could just simply say to you, okay, for best practice, you just link to Wikipedia. Say it simple, works for now. But does that work 10 years later? You have to start thinking critically. First question you should be asking if there's a new strategy, is there is a potential strategy? Is there a way to make to what they call that one, artificially create this? If the answer is yes, then you should be careful of implementing it, or you should be carefully of, for example, what you're saying is, if you're always trying to link to Wikipedia on authority site just to not be flagged, well, just Google can understand why are you linking to, for all your have like 50 pages, why are you linking to Wikipedia only? This is not natural. So even though the best practice, you're doing the best practice of linking out, but you have to understand from the true purpose. The true purpose is natural websites, links to websites, or reference for information, not for protecting your ass. So therefore, you should know that, okay, linking to Wikipedia is a must, but you should also mix it up. What you're trying to do is hide. You should not really look at now. You're trying to game the system. You could say if you could do this a best practice, you could say something like, how does a natural how does a website grow that is not artificially SEO to ranking? If you know how websites grow naturally without linking, without doing SEO, and some will actually rank, then you will know the basis of how to look natural when you do SEO. Because the problem here now, if that website is ranking, is not doing SEO, and if you're doing SEO, you mimic him, Google has a problem of differentiating if you're actually natural and you're doing SEO. But if you're doing spamming, and that's a far thing to do from doing natural, what happens is that's easy to catch. Oh, natural websites don't do that. Natural growing don't do that. So they can easily wipe you out. Now, if you mask your SEO efforts and mimic like a natural growing SEO, Google will have a hard time with you, and in most cases they just go after for low hanging fruits. They just first ban out those blatant ones. Maybe you could stick around. Depends on the search. And then, for example, if you're doing SEO and your content is really good, most of them Google doesn't really matter because they're not really trying to. Again, the base Google idea here, the base ideal world is just they're trying to give keyword best user experience. So if you try to spam so much, but content is really, really, really good, you might get away with it because that's the ultimate goal of Google. Doing FB ads, Google ads, YouTube ads are considered SEO. Short answer, no. Those are not. Those are in the. That's another category of internet. These are full higher. Let's go higher in the category chain. Internet marketing in the higher chain, and then organic search engine marketing, and then from internet marketing, it could lead out to social media marketing. It could categorize into from under internet marketing the main category, social media marketing. It could go to paid marketing. It could go organic search engine marketing. That is falls paid marketing. Any YouTube ads, Google ads, that falls on a different criteria. And if you do Google ads and you think that you're getting a backlink from YouTube, nah, that doesn't count. Google doesn't count those, and it's easy for them to discount those links. Is it best to have paid links? As I said, you're not supposed to do that, but I'm not saying you shouldn't. All I'm saying is you better know how to hide it. That's it. So the best practice for that is I bought links before. Make sure let a quick way you can, for example, if you want to buy a link from this website, a quick thing you can do is go to that website, check the website itself. If it's linking too much, don't do it because it's probably he's bleeding too much link juice. First of all, you're not getting a link juice from it, and second, the problem is Google will catch the website sooner or later that this guy is selling links, and then if your domain is there, you'll be up for possible. You'll be in Google's radar. So buy links, but be careful. Make sure that the site you're buying doesn't have a lot of links in them. Or as I said, you can do those blog viral posts. How about you create your own high authority website and you get links from that? You don't have to pay for it. It's kind of expensive though. Is there any questions?
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, you said a while ago that if the user is staying at your website, it will affect the ranking, right? What if the user is just your website is just
Yes, boss.
open, and they are doing let's say
Doing
they
something else.
yeah in another tab. Is it counted?
You have to look at it from the Google's perspective. If from Google's perspective, okay, you trace how the traffic goes. First from Google search engine, and they give you a link to this website. Now, actually, they don't know how long you stay there unless they press the back button. Because if they press the back button, then they know that okay, a better way of looking at this, Google will show you the door. This is the site you want. He opens the door, you go in. If you go inside and you exit from another door, then Google has no information of how long you stay there. But if you press the back button, then Google knows that you come in from the same door, then he can pick tabs.
Mm.
Well, there could be arguments that Google could be leaving cookies. Like, for example, a website could be incorporating AdSense. You know what AdSense, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what AdSense is?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, by my analogy, Google shows you that door, but that door inside the room has Google AdSense. So basically, I'm not sure, probably, but that AdSense could also be working as a mole. They could be get the idea. They're
Magaling,
inside the room and then they're observing of how long.
magaling din si
How,
Google ah.
ah,
Magaling din
yes,
si Google.
yeah, something like that. They could be. I'm not saying but it's in their capabilities. It's in their means. But if there's no AdSense if the site has no AdSense, it would be very difficult and I have no, from let's say, a code perspective, well, Google owns your browser.
I have also sir, what if maybe the client, you don't know it if their website is already banned, and
Yes.
they tried to hire you, and they want you to optimize that website. What can you do about that if it's already banned?
Already banned.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be take out all the content, clone the content, buy a new website, and post those content there. That's because a lot, as I said, it's a lot easier for you to create from scratch than dig out yourself from a hole.
Mm, because
So, I mean, it's already bad anyway. So and the content there, you can do a one-click clone of a website. That's it. It's a one-click. It will clone the website. Slap it, and then you do the new domain. Therefore, ban free.
just
Not a problem.
yeah.
There are ways to get unbanned, but it's just too much of a hassle. That's why I won't suggest it.
So what do you mean? What do you mean the webmaster? What do you mean? If the master give you a link?
Oh, that's an inbound link. That's what I'm making. Oh, the better way of looking at this: website A, website B. If website A gives a link to this one is giving outbound.
Example, your website A is your website.
Yeah.
And this is the another website.
Yeah.
So what do you mean this website give you a link? Is it?
Oh yeah, okay, here's an example. Let's use a Web 2.0 website. A Web 2.0 is, for example, Blogspot. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Blogspot. Okay, I have let's say I have www.dogfood.com. I go to blogger.com. I go to Blogger. I create an account there, and then I create a content, and from that content, I will get a link, and I will link towards my other website. That's how you do it. One way of doing it, but a lot of ways of actually. That's a good question.
So it's like they gave you
Yeah, if they give you if they link to you.
in their website.
Yeah, if in their website there's a link there,
like
that
they
goes to your website. That's the you are receiving incoming, and they are doing outbound link.
it's
You are
like they mention you in their website,
yeah,
right?
something like that.
Okay.
That and that's how the entire, as I said, that's the entire system. If you don't like the word voting, yeah, you could say mentions, and
Mention
that's
or
the entire system. The more mentions you have, the more authority you get.
that's
So
that's the meaning of when you say the webmaster give you a link. It's like
yeah, when
uh,
you mention them and when you get a mention from their
from
website,
their website. Okay.
if you wanna be well, that's step one. Well, the bad way of doing it, or let's say the tricky way of doing it is you could pretend to be the other website. You own that yeah, and you just give a link to yourself. Just make sure that Google still thinks that the other website is not owned by you. That's a trick there.
Okay.
So, yeah, most of the time I usually do that. It actually works.
It falls under black hat, right?
Technically, yeah, it
Yeah.
still falls in the back end. But
Mm.
but it's one of those things that you can get away easily because if you know, like it's natural for some people to link. Like for example, it's just a matter of question of can you do it? Can you not get caught? How can you make it look natural? For example, let's say I create this link on another website for the purpose of giving myself my website a link. Well, I can create this website. I can make him go link out anywhere. I can make good content. He links to 10 websites. Now Google will have a problem. Okay, who from out of the 10, who is really trying to get a link to?
Mm.
So what are you gonna Google trying to do? He's gonna ban all of them. That's not gonna happen. That's all. It's all about trying to outsmart.
So
Plus,
sir,
for
if let me take another example. So let's example I have a let's say uh website or a content about maybe freelancing,
yeah,
and then there's this entrepreneur.com. So let's say I contact the entrepreneur.
yeah,
So uh, if they say that uh, can you mention me on your website,
website.
entrepreneur, yeah. So that means they give me a link.
Yeah, they're giving you a link. Yeah.
Right, okay. Sir, another I like the your three pillars, the keyword research, like the content is the what bullet,
It's not
right?
really. It's just like it's more like an analogy. It's not really important.
Analogy actually.
The most important thing there to understand is actually those three. There's not from the three. Nothing is really. In some context, it's more important, but in some context, it falls under. Like a better way of example, in the ideal world, from the ideal scenario of Google, content is just all it should be. Best content, and you should really be doing. You should, if you have make the best content, then links will naturally grow, and then keywords you don't really need to do that. But the thing is, I can say something like similar like to this. You probably have a friend that who sings really good, right? Like I don't know, he's really good. He can win Filipinas Got Talent, and that's what I mean. He has very good content. But we're not living in an ideal world because he is not yet winning. He doesn't have fame. He doesn't know what. Why? Because he lacks exposure, one of that. And that's what it is. Good content could be good best singer, but without the links and that you lack exposure, it's kind of, that's how it works. So Google knows that also. So that's why I said building links is technically, if you build links, if you ask even links from other people, that's technically a black hat thing to do. But Google also knows that if you don't try to share your videos or your content, it will never catch on. You will never get exposure. So they will allow you to do that at some point. If you do it too much, then you will get banned. If you just allow slowly, here's the problem there. Where's the limit? And if you know the answer, you're probably be a millionaire now. And I don't know the answer, so we're making.
Uh,
So you try to, but if you really want to do that, I mean, rely on fall on something that is easier to digest, and then that just try to get a better user experience.
sir, last.
Here's another strategy that I failed to mention. And when it comes to content, how do you make better content? Example, if you're trying to rank a keyword dog food, okay, let's I don't even have a dog anymore. Anyway, dog food. What the new age probably these days, the top of the let's say edge of advancement when it comes to under the pillar of content is you can actually let's say go to dog food, Google search for dog food, and then you look at the top one, what this is topic about, what's up. Then you make a better content, or you make it better, or make it more. Like for example, yes, the number one has 500 words about dog food. You make 1,000. If it has 1,000, you make 2,000. You top it up, something like that. If it has 4 pictures, improve it. That is a very safe way of attacking Google if you do it like that, because it all revolves around better experience. So, as I said, in my experience in throughout the years, strategies come and go, tricks come and go. But if you just learn to understand one formula, you can weed out the bad ones and the good ones, and that's it. You put it on the test. Does it, if a new strategy or a new tactic comes along, you ask your question: does this tactic help make a better user experience? If it's not, then it probably falls in black hat. So you should be careful. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not against the black hat. You should be careful of how to use it.
So as long as you know the principles and fundamentals, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. What they call that one? Shim impair. I won't be here all the time. And if I just tell you something like, just do is good SEO content under the pillar of content. You say do good content. You just link to Wikipedia. That might work for now. What about 5 years? But if you understand why it works, then you can apply it. You can change it in different forms. The idea there, again, why do you link to outside? Because you want to look natural. It's because website naturally link to other websites. If you don't link to other websites, and then you will start to go in the realm where you're trying to conserve link juice. And then you're already trying to manipulate the system. And there you go. Now, you're not really going to get banned immediately, but you're starting to be in let's say there's no really Google isn't really that let's say stringent about it. There's no one really one thing. It's more like small things that keep piling up and then eventually it will snap. So that's what usually is. Unless like for example, yeah, I used to do like clear spams and it can pure black hat. I have tried that once and it can work. I mean, it's just let's say Google's getting smarter. Um, yeah, I'm checking some questions.
Kanang
Which
kan si Judee Rallos kay si Kuan na si Joy na.
Joy?
She's using my account. She's the
Ah, Mod. Oh wait. There's a question here. Which websites do we go to see our website rankings? This is actually easy. You can just do website. You can do it manually if you want. You can just look for the keywords and try to scan to the top 100 if your website appears in top where. But there are robots actually that actually websites can do this, and you just search for that. Your keyword, the thing that you should be when you go to Google, just search for uh, webs website rank checker. That's it. It will give you Google will give you websites that will rank that will let's say what they call the one will tell you at what rank is your page ranking at what specific keywords.
Sir, another question. If you're a VA in that company and they ask you to optimize their website, if you made it to rank number one, is your job done? Is your contract finished, or you must maintain that your? I think it's hard to get to be number one, but I think it is harder
Yeah,
to maintain.
maintain. It all depends on your it all depends on your, let's say, contract or
Uh,
what's your in your agreement. But generally, it also depends on competitiveness. I have a website. Probably let me check. If it's still up.
so
Uh,
mostly it's contract, right?
it's all depends on well,
Your client.
let me see. Yeah, yeah, it's still up there. My mother owns a hospice in, let's say, my mother owns a hospice in the United States, and if you look for hospice, keyword hospice, Colton, Excel Care is their within top 10, and then I haven't touched that for I haven't touched that for 3 years, 4 years. It's still ranking na.
Yeah.
Why? Competitiveness. There's not a lot of competition there.
Mm.
And the way I built that was actually I didn't really use any bots. I just this directories and then some language. It all boils down actually to how much the competition is. You can get to number one, and if it's no one playing that specific keyword, there's no one trying to compete. Yeah, you would stay there for years, no problem. But if someone comes along and then wants to out push you, then you have to play back.
Mm.
Think of it as like that.
Spectrum of search
So,
volume and ranking.
regarding your question, um, Ursi, let's say, for example, you might be worried na, what if marank ko na ang client ko, tapos mawala na yung client ko, di ba? But how you can really position yourself in that scenario is to really make sure that you also sell your capabilities. So obviously, because you've already ranked for the website, and maybe it's already doing good, maybe there are already like a lot of keywords that your client is already ranking for, then you make sure to position yourself as somebody who is indispensable in their team. And maybe you can offer to rank other products, other line of businesses, or, on to the next challenge for their customer. Because ultimately, they want to make sure that you are still valuable in the business, as well as like that's your concern. And
I mean, ma'am, akala ko po parang kumbaga parang yung setup sa SEO is meron ba yung parang permanent kang i-hire or halimbawa
that's
Or
what I was
per
getting
job.
natin is
Percy, that's what I was getting at. Remember that any online job is not permanent. You have to think about it that way. This is not like even a job in a regular office is not permanent. If they're not happy, if they don't see that you are still useful, then they're not going to keep hiring you, right? So, as I was trying to say, make sure to position yourself that you are valuable in that business, especially that if you've already ranked in that case, then you have some sort of claim to fame, and make sure to suggest other ways that you can help them. That's what I was trying to tell you to help yourself.
As a tip, if you're going to this freelancer, to the VA realm, I think you should really get that idea of job security. You put it out in your head. It's just a bad concept. Okay. First of all, there's no such thing as job security. Second of all, if you're relying on job security, you are now getting relaxed about your skills and
Yeah.
your capabilities. And then that's what happens when you see old companies when they are being run by idiots. They are really run like San Miguel. There are people there who don't know what they're actually doing with time have already moved on, but no one has kicked them out because they've been there for so very long and they're relying on their job security or their
Yeah.
uh,
Tenure
in
or
their
something.
position, and that's why hope maybe that will work.
But
I
it will
think
not
like 20 years ago, nowadays there's no such thing. So you have to think of yourself as don't, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
it's not.
Thinking of really looking for job security is actually a bad thing because you know why? There's no such thing as job security. Never been. It's been so long now. Because it used to be like my uncle. My uncle works for San Miguel. He started in my uncle started when he graduated. He retired 5, 10 years ago. He spent there 30 years in San Miguel. Those times there's such thing as job security. No, there's no such thing as that. They don't do that anymore. They can fire. They usually change people around. Maybe old companies or something, but I'm pretty sure new
They
tech
go through
companies
all
are
these
always
things, diba?
yeah. And it's not. I mean, what I'm saying is it's better to face the reality that there's no such thing as job security rather than being cozy and being and thinking that you have job security when you don't have one.
Hindi,
Okay.
actually, sa ano po,
Yeah.
ang tinatanong ko lang po is parang kumbaga paano yung setup sa SEO. Halimbawa, parang
Oh, sa usual sentence. Sa akin po,
nakapag ka ng backlinks na, halimbawa, nakapag-set up ka ng backlist, kumbaga parang may
yeah.
mga ganong usapan ba? Ah, okay.
It all really, that's what I was suggesting a while ago. If you want to do SEO services, I suggest that you get paid for the activity, not for getting ranked. Can you separate the concept?
Yes,
So
sir.
for example, the theory is if I get backlinks, then you will get results. You say to the client, I can do the backlinks. The result I cannot guarantee. So therefore, you are getting paid for the results. You're not getting paid for if you are getting ranked. There's
Yeah.
a difference.
Because sometimes clients who are not like very tech savvy, obviously they're hiring you because maybe they're not as tech savvy or something. And then they will blame you that you're not yet ranking, wherein Google, you cannot simply dictate to Google, hey, Google, just rank me, okay? Something like that, diba? So,
And there's another thing that
Mhm.
if you have sorry Tony, if you have a new website, it's normally there. Google has a thing called sandbox. If the website is new, it's usually you would be in the top 100 probably if you do SEO, but you barely probably for the next 6 months you'll be on off in the first 10 or 20 spots on and off. But most of the it's they termed it the Google sandbox. It all pertains to Google might put you higher and try to see if people like your website and if they're testing you, if they're testing your content is good. So within that 6 months, it's common to be out of like I don't know top top 20, top 50. It's rare to be in the top tens within 6 months. One way to bypass that is you buy those domains, all domains aged already. You can bypass the sandbox.
And maybe also Ursi was asking if this is a long-term job or if it's like a gig. As I would like to remind you, it's really in the way that you position yourself when you do the negotiation process, or of course, how you show how valuable you are in that business. Because obviously, if they're done with it and then you will not offer to help any further, then why not? They will actually like quit hiring you, diba?
Actually, ma'am, ano po yung po yung actually yung pong tanong ko na yon kanina is may pinaka parang ultimate na tanong pa eh. Paano kung
Yun.
actually parang nandun yung takot na paano kung hindi mo na parang ng within sinabi nilang
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you have to be clear about it.
hindi ka na po matidemanda o
Not over-promise.
It's not really over promising. It's just basically saying you do not try to position that you're getting paid to let them run. you're getting paid for the activity, for specific activity. That's what they say. Okay, if let's be clear about this. If you rank or not, that's not what I'm getting paid for. I'm just here to you're paying me to build links.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank
You
you
have
po.
to, yeah. So if it doesn't rank, then you can tell, "Oh, that's not what we agreed. We agreed you pay me for my time for building links. I didn't say I'm gonna make it your rank. That's a different job.
Ako din, my strategy always, like with my clients, is I always inform them. Like, for example, I assess what kind of experience they have, like with digital marketing, with like internet marketing and things like that. And then I really make sure that I inform them of where, like, for example, of the realities of these things. Like, let's say, for instance, when somebody will approach me and would say, I really want excellent content, that's actually very vague if you really think about it. Because excellent content, what's your perception of it? So I always really ask of like clients, what are your expectations? Let's say, what's like your best scenario? What are your goals while you're hiring for this job? And then they're gonna say, you know what? I really just want to be like the number one website in this whatever field. And then I really make it very clear and bring them down to earth about what are the possibilities.
Expectation.
Set expectations. Always set expectations. Like in my end, I really tell them, you know what? We have people who have the capability to be great copywriters or great content writers. But I'm going to inform you that the Philippines, English is not our first language. So that's already a barrier. So in my own language, I would say that. And then secondly, what exactly do you mean by great content? Can you show me samples? And if this is replicable, maybe we can, but I cannot guarantee. Maybe you will have to train this person. What are your expectations? What do you want? What kind of strategies do you want for this person to enact? And you really have to ask. Always ask.
Mm.
Uh, what's it? Orsi?
Yes, sir. Mercy.
Orsi. Do you know about SEO tools?
Actually, sir, I have interest in SEO. That's why
But do you know about the tools? I haven't know yet.
uh, I just heard Ahrefs, Moz, SEMrush,
No,
uh,
sir.
Keyword Finder.
I mean, those are tools, but child's play. Let's say if you really want to do shit, you really want to do shit. You're like, I got softwares like I build 1,000 links in like a day, 2,000 links in a day.
Wow.
So what? I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to give you an idea
Can you be my
of where
mentor?
you what what.
Can you be my mentor?
I'm not trying to brag here. I'm just trying to give you an idea of where you could position yourself as a service. If your service is build links, then I could say I got a software for that, and who can do a lot better than you. So choose a field that activity that a robot cannot for now cannot do actually. For now, sign ups usually those will get buggy when something changes. But if you're just relying on backlinks, there's actually a software for that already. So while you're still early, I might want you to think of another, let's say, think another area of SEO. Maybe keyword research is probably better. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very good spot to be.
Mm.
Content would also be better. Actually, you we should always also be thinking nowadays. You should always be thinking about, is automation endangering my job? Because if it is, you should think about something else. Because seriously, progress doesn't really wait for you just because you've been there for 20 years. Okay. If you always, and here's the thing with robots, automation. For example, like that, it cannot create content. Keyword research in the research field, automation can gather the data, but the final analysis, because humans, you need to understand how to understand between the lines. Robots cannot do that.
Yeah.
They just can collect data. So you might want to be on those fields, like with a keyword research, uh, content writing. I up to this day, I still do content writing.
Sir, in SEO, is it required to you must good in to become a writer?
If you don't know how to write good content, then you can buy, or like you can ask somebody else to write for you. Because then if you have to force it, then it will become bad content, and thereby it's not a good user experience.
Well, if you're offering SEO services, you can always outsource your, like for example, I will manually build links for you, for example, but to do that, I need to have contents, post it in Blogger, and then post it to you, and point it to you. So your client is actually not trying to buy content for you; is buying your formula. So you can outsource that if your writing is not your thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's easy. Yeah, easy. There's nothing, no rules against those anyway. But yeah, don't be hard if you content writing is stressful. I'll tell you that. Like it's just stressful. So it's okay. And actually, content writing is actually the number reason why SEO is becoming very difficult, because you need bigger budgets. Because it used to be you can just slap 300 words, 150 words in a website, and then you can stack that decently. Not anymore. You need around 2,000 for best measures. And 2,000 words article, if you order that, that's if you just use the cheapest ones, you'll probably spend 1,000 for that, more than that, for just one article. And then what if you have like 10 pages? Your budget entails 10,000 just for content. And that's what I'm saying. When you build a website, the WordPress theme is $10, 500 pesos. Domain is 500 pesos. Your content is 10,000. Whole of the expense is content. So that's why I'm saying SEO is getting.
The reason why um, a lot of clients are always going to ask me, do you have a great writer? Do you have a great copywriter? And things like that. And yet I cannot guarantee, because it's, as what Kuya Jad mentioned earlier, writing is an art. I mean, secondarily, let's say the applicants have great grammar, but then it's still an art form. And like, not all clients will agree that this particular article is good because they have a certain feel that they want to convey in their certain business, right? So it has to match. Are there any other questions?
Oh, I got one tip for you, Orsi. If you really want to delve to SEO, you go to blackhat.com. Oh, wait. Blackhatworld.com. They are in the upfront. The people there. Let me check if I forget the site. If you want to look for weird shit there, weird stuff, you're gonna find it there. Yeah, it's blackhatworld.com. When it comes to SEO and search engine optimization, they are probably on the edges of what's working and what's not. So you want to check on those.
Is it safe, sir? Here?
Yeah, it's just a forum.
It's a forum of people who have like these strategies that they want to share
And what
about.
happened is the thing. Is the thing you understand. If you see gurus that advertise, they're not really in they may be close to the edge, but they're not on the edge. You want to find the people on the edge. Those are the ones.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you po. Thank you.
Any other question? We're so no more questions, right? So thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to Jed.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
I have to say,
Yay! Thank you, sir.
Sure,
Yes,
Jet.
sir.
guys,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
were you
I'm
all
just
listening? Were you all taking notes?
Yes, Miss Judy.
Actually, ma'am,
Actually,
mas naintindihan ko yung SEO ngayon. Sir,
Oh,
talaga, sir, talaga hindi ka nagtitrain yan, ha? Hindi ka pa nagtitrain yan, ha?
oh, I'm a very I'm a let's say I've reached an age na lockdown. I'm on permanent lockdown. I didn't even I didn't even realize there's a lockdown.
yung, yung fundamentals talaga yung natutunan ko dito.
yes.
Yeah, I try to give you what I'm trying to give you here is a congruent framework that even though I'm not here, you have a system of thinking that new strategies, you know where to put it. You know how to deal with it. Because in most cases, when you start SEO, you learn tricks. You learn this trick, that trick, and then you realize this will work, and then it won't work anymore. But if you know the fundamentals, then you can just modify it. You know how to work with it. You know how to manipulate the blocks and you manipulate the system. So rather than giving you tactics, tricks are very rigid. It works for time, works for not. And
Mm.
then, so rather than chasing for the next trick, just stick to the fundamentals. And I'm not saying tricks are bad, but make sure that the bulk of your strategy, at least 60-70% of what you're doing is fundamentally good. And then you do those tricks as complementary things to help you boost. But never do it like that's your entire strategy, a trick. That's just a bad idea.
Actually, I love the idea about better user experience always.
That's all it. That's all there is. Yeah, always keep that